Hey everyone, welcome back to Cracking the GRE Math Subject Test. This is Calculus 2. We're on question number 28. So in this question, we're asked to set up a double integral to evaluate that will represent the volume of the solid that's bounded above by this elliptic paraboloid and below by this elliptic cone. So the trick here is to realize that these two surfaces intersect when z equals 0. In other words, when at the xy plane. And the way to see that is to notice that if z equals 0, then the first surface can be represented by the graph of x squared plus 1/9 y squared equals 1. And the second surface can be represented by 1 equals square root of x squared plus 1/9 y squared, which if you square both sides gives you x squared plus 1/9 y squared equals 1. So this is the same thing. And so this x squared plus 1/9 y squared equals 1, that's an ellipse. You can see that it's an ellipse if you graph a little bit. I mean, it is the equation of an ellipse centered at the origin, and the graph looks something like this. This is x, this is y. So when x equals 0, then y is equal to 3. And when y is equal to 0, then x is equal to 1. And this is symmetric, so -1, 0, and 0, -3. So our graph is going to look something like this. Okay, more or less, that's an ellipse. It's supposed to be an ellipse. And we can write it as y equals, well, 1 minus x squared, or 9 times 1 minus x squared, and then square root. So the 3 comes out. So you have plus or minus 3 square root of 1 minus x squared. Alright. So our integral is going to look something like, this is that. X will go from -1 to 1. Y will go from -3 root 1 minus x squared to +3 root 1 minus x squared. And then we have to take the surface above and subtract the surface that's below the xy plane in order to get the total volume. So the surface that's above the xy plane is 1 minus x squared plus 1/9 y squared. I'll write that inside. That's going to be 1 minus x squared. 1 minus x squared plus 1/9 y squared. And we have to subtract from that the surface that's below the xy plane, so that's going to be square root of x squared minus 1 or plus 1/9 y squared minus 1. And all of this is going to be integrated with respect to y and then with respect to x. Alright, let's simplify this. This is going to simplify to integral from -1 to 1, -3 root 1 minus x squared to 3 root 1 minus x squared. The 1, let's see, this one, and minus minus 1. That's going to give us a 2. And then we're going to have minus x squared minus 1/9 y squared. And then minus the square root. X squared plus 1/9 y squared. And all of this is integrated with respect to y and then with respect to x. So which of these answers matches? It's going to be answer E.